Hello, this is Joyce reading the Provincetown banner for July 17th. What is a rapid pole? Eversource plans for possible hurricane on Cape. New technology that Eversource is using with the start of the hurricane season is a rapid pole system to provide temporary electricity to customers until a permanent pole is installed and power is reconnected, according to Eversource Vice President of Emergency Preparedness Mark Baldwin on June 30th at the energy company's West Yarmouth offices. By Rachel Devaney, Cape Cod Times, West Yarmouth. Equipped with a hard hat and a safety vest, Eversource Director of Electric Operations Mike Pierce climbed to the base of a rapid pole and switched the massive machine into gear, causing the pole to rumble as it rose roughly 40 feet in the air. In the event of a storm or hurricane and customers lose electric service, the tall, mobile, vertical metal structure can be set up in any area across Cape Cod to provide temporary power to Eversource customers as crews make permanent repairs. The rapid pole, invented by a former Eversource employee, is just one new tool the company will use during the 2025 hurricane season, Pierce said. The $49 million battery backup system in Provincetown and a mobile command center kept in West Yarmouth, similar in size to a camper, are also new tools the company will use. Storms have become more intense over the years, he said. We are constantly doing things to improve power quality and quickly mobilize when a large-scale storm hits our region. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts above normal activity for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs through November 30th. Eversource provides energy to approximately 4.4 million customers across Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, according to its website. The company serves 140 towns in Massachusetts for electric service, including all of Cape Cod. The administration predicts that the Atlantic hurricane season will bring about 13 to 19 named storms, with 6 to 10 becoming hurricanes with winds 74 miles per hour or higher, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes with winds 111 miles per hour or higher. But not every storm will hit the Cape area, said Eversource Vice President of Emergency Preparedness Mark Baldwin. Some storms may dissipate, and others will head toward the south. Storms that come off the coast of Africa also have the potential to dissipate, he said. In 2024, there was a high-pressure grade storm system that sat over the New York area, Baldwin said. The system acted as a buffer, pushing hurricanes out to sea or moving them to southern regions of the eastern seaboard. That high, he said, has now moved toward New Hampshire and Vermont, which makes the Cape area more susceptible to extreme weather. We were pretty lucky last year. We didn't have any giant major weather events, said Baldwin, but we need to stay fresh, keep folks fresh, and be prepared. In 2022, John Ventura, an Eversource manager of distribution system engineer, is surrounded by battery packs inside the new Provincetown battery energy storage system. Year-round preparations. Trees are the number one cause of power outages on the Cape, said Eversource Vegetation Management Manager Christopher Gonzalez, which is why Eversource maintenance programs consistently prune trees and brush. Crews also cut down hazardous trees before they have the chance to fall over. Before the weather even strikes, we need to get our system ready to make sure we are in the best position possible to prevent power outages, he said. Great white shark visit to Woods Hole confirmed. Heather McCarran, Cape Cod Times, USA Today Network. Falmouth swimmers got a recent reminder that great white sharks aren't just found off the Cape's Atlantic-facing shores and in Cape Cod Bay. Two paddleboarders outside the swim area of Marine Biological Laboratories Stony Beach and Woods Hole saw a shark up close on July 4th. According to an advisory Falmouth town manager, Mike Renshaw, released on July 9th, the sighting occurred after 7 p.m. when town beach staff were no longer on duty. Scientists at the New England Aquarium later identified the shark as a great white after reviewing the paddleboarders' photos of the shark's fin cutting through the water. Biologist Simon Thorold, a senior scientist at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, said he wasn't entirely surprised by the visit. They are obviously a good number of white sharks that spend a good amount of time off the outer cape, Thorold said. It's to be expected that some might swim past the Cape's southern shore during their migrations, he said. Sightings on the south shore may happen more often than anyone thinks, he said. On the Atlantic side of the Cape and Cape Cod Bay, scientists monitor the shark populations with acoustic and camera tags. We don't have the same array of acoustic receivers along the South Shore, Thorold said. That means sightings in Falmouth and nearby areas rely entirely on the chance of someone spotting and recording a shark. The last time a white shark was reported and photographed in waters near Woods Hole was in 2004, he said. In September that year, a 14-foot female estimated to weigh in at 1,700 pounds, hung out in a shallow lagoon at nearby Noshawn Island for 14 days, long enough to earn her a name, Gretel, and to inspire a brief stretch of shark sighting. Referring to the shark in the paddleboarders photo, Thorold said it appeared to be good-sized. It's difficult to confirm whether it was a subadult or adult, he said. Though known for feeding on seals along the outer cape, white sharks in southern waters may be pursuing schools of fish instead. It's rare for this kind of interaction here, Thorold said, describing the paddleboarders' encounter as unusual. He commended their reaction. They stayed calm, remained on their boards, and paddled back to shore. I think the worst thing you could do would be anything to attract that shark's attention, he advised. The same guidance applies to swimmers. Just slowly, calmly make your way back to shallow water and avoid a bunch of splashing. At the end of the day, he said, beachgoers must remember they're entering a marine habitat. I would avoid swimming at dusk and dawn, and if you see a seal in the water, whether you are swimming, maybe rethink whether you want to be in the water, Thorold said. We know that white sharks are not interested in people, he added. When there have been attacks, it's always a case of mistaken identity, he said. John Chisholm, an adjunct scientist with the New England Aquarium's Anderson Cabot Center for Ocean Life, confirmed that while sightings aren't as frequent in Vineyard and Nantucket Sounds, they do occur from time to time. Detections are recorded around Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket every summer, he said. This recent sighting is an important reminder that white sharks can occur anywhere in Massachusetts state waters, so beachgoers need to be aware and take the appropriate precautions when going into the water, Chisholm said. He added that the warmer waters in Buzzards Bay, Vineyard Sound, and Nantucket Sound are not typically preferred by white sharks, but that doesn't mean they're not visiting. In response to the sighting, the town has redistributed its sharks response protocol to ensure public safety and efficient communication in the event of another encounter. The National Seashore's Shark Smart tips remain vital for all beachgoers, according to Renshaw's advisory. 1. Be aware sharks hunt for seals in shallow water. 2. Stay close to shore. 3. Swim or surf in groups. Avoid areas with seals or visible schools of fish. Avoid murky water and limit splashing. Follow all lifeguard instructions. If a shark is sighted and lifeguards are present, town officials advise that they will temporarily close the water and notify beachgoers when it's safe to return. If no lifeguards are on duty, beachgoers should call 911 or report the sighting via the Sharktivity app or by calling 508 457-2550, extension 7. Senator Sear testifies on happy hour proposal from Cape Cod Brewery, Allison Kuznets, State House News Service. With a cold beer sign as his backdrop from a Provincetown brewery, Senator Julian Sear made his latest pitch Monday to repeal the state's happy hour ban as lobbyists representing restaurants and package stores balked at the prospect of drink promotions cutting into their bottom lines. City and towns would have the option to offer happy hour promotions for alcoholic beverages during specific time windows under proposals from Sear and Representative Samantha Montano. Happy hour has been banned in Massachusetts since 1984 as officials sought to alleviate drunk driving. I'm actually testifying at the Provincetown Brewing Company here in Provincetown, one of the many businesses in my district, the Cape and Islands District, who are clamoring for and asking for the ability to get more business through their doors, Sear told the Joint Committee on Consumer Protection and Professional Licensure. Under newly adapted joint rules, Sear faced no pushback to testify virtually. In May, as rules reforms were still being negotiated, committee co-chair said Representative Tackey. Chan blocked Senator Jake Olvera from testifying virtually from his Western Massachusetts district, a procedural maneuver that Senate President Karen Spilka knocked. Chan cited the new rules at the end of the hearing Monday as he rattled off a new poll for House members and his recommendations for bills that should receive a favorable report or be sent to study. Co-chair Senator Pavel Payano then read the list of bills the committee had just heard. Small businesses are struggling post-COVID, from Sear. Sear's happy hour measure, which the Provincetown Democrats said can help boost products and drive foot traffic to small and family-owned businesses, has repeatedly failed to clear the legislature. The Senate's last session incorporated Sear's local option happy hour provision into its economic development bond bill, which did not survive conference committee negotiations with the House. Our small businesses, our restaurants, our bars are really struggling in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, Sear said, and Massachusetts continues to be only one of 8 states that continue to prohibit happy hour drink specials. Sear, who's vice chair of the Public Health Committee, said his legislation, dubbed an act relative to conviviality and downtown revitalizations, would create safe and responsible happy hour practices. Drinks could not be discounted after 10 p.m. Drink prices could not change throughout happy hour, and businesses must provide at least 3 days' notice ahead of happy hour specials. The bill does not limit the extent of drink discounts. The landscape has changed dramatically since 1984, when the happy hour ban was put in place, Sear said. We have since implemented strict penalties, enforced the national drinking age, mandated seatbelt laws, and witnessed the rise of ride-sharing services that have really helped Massachusetts have one of the lowest rates of drunk driving in the country. Opposing the happy hour measure, the Massachusetts Restaurant Association, which represents more than 1,800 restaurants, opposes any legislation that would change the status quo around the happy hour ban, said Jessica Moore, MRA's Director of Government Affairs. She said that also includes a Representative Mike Conley bill, H349, that would create a special commission to evaluate repealing the happy hour ban. Moore, who contended the ban is working and should be left alone, lamented that restaurants are grappling with razor-thin margins that are exacerbated by inflation and steep credit card processing fees. She warned that already competitive restaurant industry could end up facing more challenges, and competition could also emerge between neighboring municipalities with different happy hour approaches. If happy hour were allowed in desperation to gain market share, lower performing operators will discount more and more. The more they give away, the deeper the financial trouble. The deeper the financial trouble, the more they will need to give away, Moore said. She added, more popular establishments with higher costs will find themselves competing with the bar across the street's predatory pricing policies. There is no protection for restaurants that have no interest in participating. Once one establishment opens the door, every other operator in the city or town will be forced to follow. Sear, off-season happy hour benefit. Sear, who testified after Moore, responded that Massachusetts still operates in a semi-free market, as he advocated in support of giving businesses more tools to attract customers. I can tell you, in my neck of the woods, we probably wouldn't offer happy hour here at the Provincetown Brewing Company in July and August. It's just so busy, Sear said. But for a place that wants to stay open year-round, for a place that's keeping your doors open year-round is tremendously difficult. The proprietors of this business would love the ability to have a happy hour, say on Sundays in the off-season from November to April. The Massachusetts Package Stores Association also opposes reinstating happy hour, said Robert Melian, the group's executive director and general counsel. We stand with MRA in strong opposition to any bill that discounts alcohol for sale in our state, Melian said. I think it's important that the two associations representing on and off premise are against discounting alcohol. As a workaround to drink specials, said some Massachusetts restaurants and bars offer happy hour deals on food, but Sear, citing personal experience working at his family's seasonal restaurant on Cape Cod, pointed out the cost of food and labor are the biggest expenses for restaurants. If you're trying to get people in the door with a discount on food, say, I don't know, oysters or chicken wings, you name, the amount of labor and time that it takes to purchase that food, to shuck those oysters, to fry those chicken wings, is quite costly. Meanwhile, Sear said, alcohol represents the highest margin for a restaurant or bar, with markups around 6 to 8 times the cost. That's where the margin is, and that's why we've actually seen businesses around the country and in Massachusetts before 1984 offer happy hour, Sear said, because this is something that, unlike other inputs, you can discount to get people in the door. Alcohol, beer, wine, liquor doesn't actually affect your bottom line as much as others. Representative Chris Flanagan no-show on preliminary vote on state $61 billion budget. Dennis Coffey, Cape Cod Times. Ignoring calls for his resignation over federal charges alleging he swindled $36,000 from a Cape trade group, State Representative Christopher Flanagan has made it to Beacon Hill to vote on House bills, but did not vote on House proposals on the state budget in late April that were sent to the Senate. He approved H4240 on June 30th, the House-Senate negotiated version of the $61 billion state budget. Since his April 11th arraignment on 5 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of falsification of records, Flanagan Dennis has faced repeated calls for his resignation from Republicans and members of his own party. Select board members in all 3 towns he represents have also criticized what they say is Flanagan's absence during key votes. They also accused him of refusing to answer telephone calls and emails. He represents the 1st Barnstable District, which includes the towns of Brewster, Dennis, and precincts 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 in Yarmouth. At a June 24 Yarmouth Select Board meeting, member Tracy Post said, the job is not getting done. Post, a Republican, ran unsuccessfully against Flanagan in the 2022 state representative election. Board member Liz Argo complained that she could not reach Flanagan because his mailbox was full, adding, that's not how a representative should behave. State Representative Stephen Charhorse, Republican West Barnstable, called Flanagan's conduct deeply troubling, and during a July 3rd call to the Times again called on him to resign. It is inexcusable that someone so compromised continues to participate in the legislative process, he writes in a text. Regardless of what he is or isn't doing in office right now. He has already failed the most standards of public service, trust, and integrity. On the day Flanagan was arraigned in federal court, Governor Maura Healey and State Senator Julian Cyr, D. Provincetown, called on him to resign. What is Flanagan's voting record in House? With some exceptions, Flanagan has continued to vote on House bills according to legislative leaders and his attorney, Greg Henning. Since April 11th, Flanagan did not vote on the House's version of the $61 billion state budget proposal or on any of its 18 amendments, according to House Journal records. Those votes were held on April 28, 29, and 30 and sent to the Senate for their consideration. Flanagan voted in the affirmative on H4150, H4187, and H4227 on May 21st, June 4, and June 18, respectively, according to the Journal records. 2 of those bills were supplemental appropriations for fiscal 2025. He approved a bill modernizing cannabis law. He voted yes on S2545 on June 26, a bill about rules governing the operations of the House and Senate. On June 40th, he voted yes on H4237 and H4240, the F126 budget appropriation. Representatives' schedules vary widely, but usually including voting in formal sessions, participating in hearings, and meeting with constituents and lobbyists. Sessions are held twice a week, according to the Clerk of the House, Timothy Carroll. Not all of them are formal. Flanagan serves on 4 legislative committees: the House Committee on Climate Action and Sustainability, the Joint Committee on Advanced Information Technology, the Internet and Cybersecurity, the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Fisheries, and the Joint Committee on Emergency Preparedness and Management. On May 13th, Flanagan attended hearings on 27 proposals with the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Fisheries, according to Chair Natalie Blass, D. Deerfield. The committee considers matters related to farming and fishing. Flanagan was in attendance at a July 9th hearing, according to Henning, his lawyer. 19 bills were on the agenda, according to House records. Flanagan has participated in hearings and polls relative to the Joint Committee on Advanced Information Technology, the Internet and Cybersecurity, according to a July 9 email from Staff Director Nora Gallo with the Office of Chair Representative Tricia Farley Bouvier, D. Pittsfield. Flanagan was not mentioned as being present at the beginning of a July 10 hearing, but he did attend, according to Henning. 27 bills were under consideration at the agenda, according to House records. The chairs of the other 2 committees did not immediately reply to requests for information on Flanagan's participation. What do the federal charges allege? The federal charges allege that while Flanagan was employed as an executive officer, he defrauded a trade association of $36,000 to pay personal and campaign expenses while serving his first term as state representative. He was first elected to the House to a 2-year seat in 2022. The indictment also alleges that Flanagan obstructed an investigation opened by the State Office of Campaign and Political Finance into a campaign mailer around December 2022. He and his campaign were ordered to pay $39,572 in fines and penalties in April 2023. Flanagan has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Woods Hole Film Festival opens July 26th. The Summer Book 2024, directed by Charlie McDowell, starring Glenn Close, is the Woods Hole Film Festival opening night screening. The film follows a 9-year-old and her family at their summer home in the Gulf of Finland, exploring themes of life, love, and death. Judy Laster started the Woods Hole Film Festival 34 years ago with her friend as a 1-day, 1-hour event down at the old Woods Hole fire station. Laster screened 5 short films. "We wanted to start the East Coast version of Sundance," said Laster during a phone call on July 1st. Over the last 3 decades, the festival has turned from 1 day to an 8-day event with more than 100 screenings. The program we put together each year is one that we think represents the best in emerging independent film. It's a festival that's really, we like to say, it's a no rope lines, you know everybody's kind of at the same level. When and where is a Woods Hole Film Festival? The festival begins on July 26th and ends on the August 2nd. All screenings will be held in person at 5 different venues, including the Woods Hole Redfield Auditorium, 45 Water Street, Clapp Auditorium, MBL 7th Street, Falmouth Academy's Simon Center for the Arts, 7 Highfield Drive, Meigs Room in the Swope Center, MBL Street, and Woods Hole Community Hall, 68 Water Street. Where to get tickets. Advance tickets are $12 for members and $18 for non-members, and $20 and $16 on the day of the show. For festival ticket packages, 6-pack is $70 for members and $96 for non-members. A 10-pack is $110 for members and $160 for non-members. For the ambitious who plan to see all films, tickets at $270 for members, at $350 for non-members. VIP all-access packages, which covers all films and events, is $450 for members and $500 for non-members. Special event screening and Q&A with Amy Brennerman. Overcome 2024, written and produced by Amy Brennerman and Sabrina Peck, is a feature documentary about Brennerman's journey becoming a true ally to her daughter Charlotte, who was born with a rare chromosomal abnormality. Brennerman is known for TV's Judging Amy, Private Practice, The Leftovers, and The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow. The film will be playing at 7:30 p.m. July 25th, the night before the festival begins at the Redfield Auditorium, and will be followed by a Q&A. The screening is a recording of a performance from March 24 at the Cotuit Center for the Arts. What if 2 screenings I want to see are at the same time? Every film that we're showing is a film that people should see, said Laster, even though she knows it's impossible. Fear not, though the festival's year-round series will be bringing back many of the films you might be missing, and you might even have a say in which films they bring back. People definitely express their opinions to us, said Laster. I mean, we're lucky that people feel an ownership stake in what we do and appreciate it. Non-screening events. The 8-day festival includes 6 events for filmmakers and cinephiles. Master classes at 12 p.m. on July 28th. The intersection of music and documentary filmmaking, hosted by Chris Perez, entertainment attorney, and Jonathan Feingold, music supervisor, will share their expertise on the artistic and business aspects of music in filmmaking. The event is held at Community Hall. Chris Perez and Jonathan Feingold will also hold a workshop at 11 a.m. on July 29th at Community Hall for any filmmakers to set up 20-minute meetings and discuss their projects with 2 experts. Registration is required for this event. Later at 2:30 p.m., join director and producer Brad Silberling for Wearing Many Hats, where he will speak about working in both film and TV and how to develop the skills necessary to adapt to a variety of projects. This event is also held at City Hall. For more details about the festival, visit the Woods Hole Film Festival website.